Well, good afternoon, everybody out there listening to this podcast, Unfiltered, with Pastor Jason Gaszak. And I have my beautiful bride with me today. And the reason why she's with me today is because, well, a week from today is Valentine's Day. And we're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about date night. We're going to talk about the importance of always dating your spouse, even after you're married. And we'll talk about some singles and things like that. We're just going to have a candid conversation. As you can see, there are no computers. There are no notes. There is zero. We are going to do this literally unfiltered. Erin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You doing all right?
Yep, I finally got my coffee. This is my first one of the day.
I see you purchased it from Roots Cafe.
I sure did. Great
Let's
stuff.
just plug that real quick.
Yeah, man.
If you're in the St. Clair area, come to Roots Cafe. We are open 6 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. And then, of course, on Sunday, we're open during the experience times. That's the 6th day, by the way. We're just closed on Monday. So come and check it out because they got good coffee, good food.
And what are the hours?
Good environment. The hours are from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
There you go.
Tuesday through Saturday. And then on Sunday, we're open at 8 a.m. Until 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
During church experiences. So
yeah.
Come and check it out. Anyway, all right, let's talk about dating. You want to start with talking about singles and what that looks like, or do you want to talk about married couples and what we do first?
I mean, are you talking like singles, like just people that are just couples that are not
just
married?
Talking about dating in general.
Dating in general.
You know, like for instance, one of the things we talk about all the time is, you know, there's a lot of single people out there that are looking for a future mate, and they struggle finding a future mate. Why? Because they're not becoming the person they're looking for. Do you want to talk about that first? Or do you want to just jump right into the Valentine's stuff and then go back to that?
Yeah, it don't matter to me either way. I mean, if we're going to talk about that, what you just said, I think that there is part of that where they're not becoming the person they're looking for. That is an aspect. Some of my experience is also there's like this expectation, and they're not wanting to kind of be patient in the waiting season. So it's not like they're doing all the things. They're just like, now that they've done all the things, they're like, there's patience.
Now they're not waiting on God.
Yes, so they're having to learn a whole different lesson in the waiting process.
So what do you think that they're doing then? They're obviously speaking from a woman's perspective.
Yes.
The ones that you speak to.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of them are they're in the way. A lot of times if we're doing everything, then that means God's not. So if we don't get out of the way, then he can't finish what he started.
Well, we have a saying around here, we do what we can and then allow God to do what we can't.
Absolutely.
So part of that would be your part is to become the person you're looking for. And let me just explain that for a minute. If you are not living your life as a Christian, you're not going to church regularly, you're not reading your word regularly, and you're not being a godly woman or man, and you're looking for someone that are doing those things, then the person you're looking for is not looking for a person like you because you're not doing what you're looking for. So that's why you got to be doing what you're looking for. So become the person that you're looking for is looking for. Once you do that, that's your part. The next part is to do what you can't do, and that is find the mate, right? God will bring the mate to you. Let's just give an example, actually, of one of our own kids, because honestly, we have 3 adult children right now. 2 of them have kids, another one on the way, and then our middle one, which was our last one to get married, was just a few weeks ago. He was in that position, basically, and even his mate was in that position. Yeah. And what they did is they took a minimum of a year. I believe it was about 2 years technically. For one, it was 3 years. But either way, a minimum of a year is what we recommend. And I remember telling Dawson, I said, listen, and you did the same thing. We said, you need to just become the person you're looking for is looking for. Start focusing on you, get the healing you need, get your relationship with God on the right track. And when you do that, God will provide the person that you're supposed to be with the rest of your life.
Right.
And I remember many times, man, he was so frustrated, and he would always say things like, I'm never going to find somebody. I'm never going to get married. Just very discouraged.
Or who wants me?
Who wants me? Because he already had a child out of wedlock. And and through a very trying time. But, we kept encouraging him, God has somebody for you. You need to understand that God has someone for everyone. It's not about having the right person. We're always looking for the right person. Well, the right person is the one that God chooses for you. And that could be a lot of different people depending on who they are. I mean, the bottom line is, are they serving the Lord? Are they putting God first? Because that's ultimately what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's really just not our job. Our job is just to keep going, work on us. And I remember very specifically whenever it was at the beginning, it was like last summer, and I remember him coming to me and just being like, I'm done. Like he had been pursuing, so he had actually
trying?
Yeah, he had actually kind of started pursuing someone, thought something may go somewhere, and it wasn't. It was kind of falling flat every time, and it was work. Right. It was literally wearing him out. It was doing all these things. And so I was kind of his sounding board through that. And he's like, what do I do? And I go, well, how do you tell your son, because you want him to pursue. That's what God created you to do, is pursue. You don't want the female to pursue fully in the beginning. There's nothing wrong with the balance of that. But as far as the beginning, he was just trying to figure it out. Like, do you guys pursue anymore? I didn't even know what to do, He just felt like he was unsuccessful even in his most natural things that he knew to do. Mm-hmm. And so I just told him, I said, it's not meant to be hard. Right. It is not meant to be hard. It will be like butter. Yeah. It'll be smooth. It'll just be natural. It'll be all those things. If it's hard, step back. Well, he just kept trying to kind of move a little bit, like he was wanting it. Yeah. And so he finally.
That's so good. I want you to repeat that.
Oh, what?
Listen to what she is saying right now, because it is very true. When it's hard to pursue, when it's not working, it's like chewing gravel.
It is.
Right?
And it's discouraging.
She said, step back. Quit trying to make it happen because it's not meant to be.
No.
When it's meant to be, it will go smooth. It will be like gravy.
Yes.
It will be natural. Those are all the things that he experienced.
Yeah, at the first sign of opposition, honestly, I'm starting to question, like when I talk to people, first sign of opposition, that's my first thing is I tell them to back up, because it's really if it's meant to be, and if this is his timing, there's really no point in the waiting. Like God will make you very aware of it. Well, what I was going to kind of wrap that part up is whenever he came to me and said, I'm done. I'm giving it over and I'm not going to worry about it. And you see what had happened. He was obsessing over it. When he was obsessing over it. I told him, I said, this has become your idol. And when it becomes your idol, then God is not in it. So he goes, I'm done with it and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to be a single dad and I'm just going to keep doing me and working on me. Literally 30 days later, he meets his wife. Yeah. He gave it up after all that time, because it had been months of pursuing this other girl and thinking that was the right thing. 1 month later, he met his wife. Yeah. It is just...
And I just want to say, too, because if you're single listening to this, you hear this all the time from people from church and church leadership. You've heard it your whole life. You even hear it outside of the church, to stop having sex before you're married, stop getting into serious relationships before you're married. We taught our children to never date seriously until you're ready to settle down and get married.
Until
you're ready to get married, you don't need to be dating seriously. You need to keep it on a cordial friendship level, because what happens is you start practicing divorce when you start to get real serious with someone and you're not ready to settle down. You still got years and years before you're ready, and you get super serious. You're in junior high, and you're dating somebody, which you're really not dating because you can't drive anyway. Then you get into high school, you start driving, you start dating, and then something doesn't work, so you break up, and then you find someone else that supposedly meets what you think your needs are, then something comes up, and then it's not working out, so you break up, and then you date another person, just on and on and on and on and on. And what you've done is you have trained yourself to break up with someone when something doesn't go right. Well, I can tell you right now, after 29 years of marriage, her and I will be married 29 years, actually, in just 2 days, on Monday. That'd be 3 days, whatever the day is. It's Friday today.
It's okay.
On Monday the 10th, 29 years, her and I will be married. And I can tell you there are many, many, many times when things did not work out. Mm-hmm. But we didn't train ourselves in the beginning that when something didn't work out, that we break up.
Right.
And that's what's happening. This is why we're encouraging you, single people, stop dating seriously when you're not ready to be married. When you're ready to be married, make a list of the things that you're looking for. Become those things, and then wait on God for the right timing. God will bring the right person when you're ready and when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Every single person, I know you're going to talk in a minute.
Yeah.
Every single person that we have talked about this with has said the same things, which is this. There's never going to be anybody. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. And then when it does happen, because they took our advice, they come back and say, I can't believe it actually worked the way you said.
Yeah. I mean, imagine how much sooner it would have happened if they just would have stayed in their faith walk, honestly, because we get doubtful, and doubt does not move God. Faith moves God. And so when we stay faithful and we stay in that faith walk, when we don't believe it, see it, feel it, can't conceive of it, that's when God actually is ignited. I really believe that. I was just going to say that a lot of times whenever, what were you just saying? You were talking about the, doggone it.
Dating and waiting. And
it literally just.
Well, if it comes back,
you'll
have to bring it up.
I know.
I want it because Valentine's Day is next Friday.
Yeah.
So I know for a lot of single people, they're trying to figure out how to do the most romantic thing for their Valentine. And again, if you're single and you're not in a serious relationship and you're not ready to be married, you shouldn't be acting like you're getting married and treating the person like she is your wife or your husband, because you're setting yourself up for failure. Doesn't mean you can't do something nice and go out on a date and have a dinner, but if you're serious, again, Valentine's Day is a very important day.
Yeah.
But for Erin and I, every Friday is Valentine's Day for us.
Yep.
I mean, every Friday. So let's unless there's something else you want to say to single people, because I don't want to bash the single people. It's not about that. It's really wanting the best for you. We've been doing this for a very, very long time in relationships and helping couples. I would say 20 years at the least that we've been doing this and walking people through some of these things, and over 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 do we have the same issues of people not waiting, people not becoming the person they're looking for. And so I just start with those if you're single. Yep. If you're engaged, awesome. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I don't believe in long engagements.
Nope.
The longer you're engaged, the more temptation comes into your life, the more you're going to start saying, well, let's just move in together. We're getting married anyway, which is not biblical. And let's be clear. It's not the fact that you live with someone that when you're not married, there's nowhere in the Bible does it say that you cannot live with someone and not be married. There's no scripture that supports that. The scripture that supports that principle is the fact that temptation comes when you're in the same house with the opposite sex. And the Bible says to stay away from all sexual temptation. There's no way in the world you can tell me that you cannot be tempted to have sex when you're sleeping in the same bed next to the opposite sex every night. You cannot tell me that you're not tempted. And if you are, then there's something wrong. Number two, the Bible also says to stay away from the appearance of things, evil, or the appearance of what it might look like. So if you're not married and you call yourself a Christian and you're living together, everybody on this earth knows you're having sex. Everybody knows that. We're not stupid. We are not stupid beings. And I had somebody tell me that, oh, well, we don't do that. Bull crap. I called them right out. Bull crap. You cannot sit there and tell me, young man, that you're sleeping next to that beautiful woman next to you, half naked, and you ain't wanting to have sex? Bull. The best thing to do is don't even go there. Right? Yeah. So that's why we don't believe in long engagements, because the longer the engagement, the harder it is. And then I hear this. Well, we're waiting to save up the money. We don't have enough money for this. We need to buy this. We need that. This is why you got to get your stuff together before you get to that point. And I'll just tell you right now, you're never going to have enough money to do all the things that you want to do.
No.
Take it from somebody who knows. I had one daughter. And in the time I wanted to go all out for my daughter's wedding. Did I have to? No. Did she need it? No. Did she want it? Not necessarily. You don't have to do a big wedding. Dawson's wedding was small, quaint, beautiful. Austin and Kenzie's wedding was small, quaint, beautiful. It wasn't anything elaborate like we see. there were certain things in each of them where they might have went a little extra because they wanted memory or whatnot. You don't have to have an elaborate wedding when it comes to that stuff.
You're just as married.
You're just as married as you would be if you went to the
courthouse. Ours was $500 and planned in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Cake reception.
Well, and part of that's because her dad wanted to get her out of the house.
That's
over
true.
there every single
That's
day.
true.
But either way,
hey, it can be done. We're just as married.
It can be done, and we've been married 29 years. So just because you have a big wedding doesn't mean you're going to be married longer.
No, because there's people that have had really, really big weddings and
they're divorced,
and they're already divorced within.
Yeah, because they don't do what we're about ready to talk to. That wasn't even the right grammar.
Yeah, I know.
That's
all right.
okay.
It's okay.
They're not doing what we've been doing for 29 years, evidently, and that is always dating your spouse. Valentine's Day should not really just be one time a year, in my opinion. As a matter of fact, I haven't even really looked up the history of Valentine's Day.
Saint Valentine.
I really don't know the history. I mean, I learned it way, way long time ago.
Yeah.
But when you get married and you're in our position, Valentine's Day for us is every Friday. Why? Because every Friday we do date day.
Yeah.
Every Friday. I heard a long time ago from someone, if you do not date your mate, someone else will.
Yep.
And I don't care if they're married or not. Someone will snake in on him or her if you're not dating, if you're not always pursuing your spouse. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure I go through seasons where you might not feel pursued, but I feel like I'm always pursuing you in a way by dating you, by doing things for you. Like we just went out on your birthday, right?
And we did nothing.
Right.
And
we did
awesome.
nothing. She wanted to do nothing, and
nothing.
we went and did nothing.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how you go and do nothing,
so
but we went and did nothing.
I had someone come up to me on Sunday, and they're like, hey, how do you do nothing? What does nothing mean to you? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, a cup of coffee and a good book and some art.
What she meant was she just didn't want to go from one thing to the next
Yeah.
thing to the next thing and have this big hoopla. She literally just wanted to go to a coffee shop, spend a couple hours there, go get dinner, and that's it.
I had lots
simple.
of reading I wanted to get in.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
anyway,
I sacrificed, and I really didn't. I mean, I did, but I didn't because I would do that anyway. But I'd sacrificed maybe organizing your birthday day to go do some of the things you like to do for what you really wanted, which was not to do much at all.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's pursuing her by knowing what she wants and making it about her. It's not about me.
Yeah, and I do want to take the time to talk about this because I'm not the greatest at pursuing. I've never been. That is not a strong suit of mine. Now I can recommend something, or when we've kind of lost, like if we got a couple busy weeks.
I've been meaning to talk to you about this.
So it's not a strong suit of mine. It never has. But your strong suit is this. So I appreciate that. But this is a thing. So I've found myself in conversation with other ladies, and I'll just maybe talk about what we've done, and I'll be like, the strength is his and not mine, and this and that. And so therefore comparison is a thief of joy. So then other women will be like, oh, my husband doesn't do that, doesn't think about anything, and they get kind of like, and I want to really just encourage you ladies that you may be the planner, you may be the pursuer in this regard. It's okay to have that. It's okay to be stronger in one area or another. But don't come down on him if he doesn't think that way, because then that's
even worse, don't go, well, so-and-so does this with his wife all the time.
Right. Yeah, please don't do that, because it's just a recipe. They won't want to ever go out.
Don't ever
do
bring
anything.
up my name. Pastor Jason does this every Friday. Don't you dare throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll work on your husband off the books. And it is a strong suit of mine.
Yeah, I've talked to ladies, and I'm like, whoa. Be careful that we don't carry that attitude into your marriage, because that's a killjoy. Like, that will kill, and it'll make him feel he's probably not naturally bent that way, wired that way. You are. I'm not. I can organize something, but I don't naturally think that way.
I'm a planner as it is. I mean, if I'm going, I do a guys trip. Well, I call it a guys trip. There's only 3 or 4 of us that go, usually once a year somewhere. I plan the whole thing. I mean, I send them an itinerary.
Yeah.
And they love it. We just talked about it the other day. I said, I can do the same thing. They're like, fine, do it.
Yeah.
We love when you do that. That's just, I like doing that. So it is a strong suit of mine, which helps in this case because I love planning date nights. I love planning on us doing things. And one of our rules on a date night or on a date day, it's not just a night, it's a date day. Now, let me just preface for a minute. We did not used to do date days because I had to work on every Friday. She worked on Fridays. We had kids at the house, and we didn't have the money to go all day and miss a Friday. With my current job, one, it's flexible. Two, Fridays are my days off, and she's able to also have Fridays off. And we have no kids at the house. We're empty nesters. So when you're empty nesters, it's a lot easier to do a date day.
Because when do you think we started this? Like officially, was it when we became pastors?
Yeah, I would say it was 10 years ago officially. Yeah. And then we just got more what I would call religious about it, which means we don't skip the day unless the two of us agree to skip the day. For instance, I don't know what we're doing, it'd be tonight actually. I was trying to think of when we're leaving out of town, but it's not till next week. So we're leaving out of town next week. We're actually going to be gone on Valentine's Day with some friends of ours. Yeah. So that's going to be our date, our time away. But sometimes when we're going to be gone for a time period, because right after that we go to a conference, we'll take the Friday before we leave and just not do anything to get prepared. Yes. We agree on that. Yeah. Or if we're going to be with another couple or do something outside of the two of us, we talk about it and we agree on that.
Sure.
That's just our thing. Then on top of that, we pick a place that we've never been before. We have to go somewhere where we've never been. And we're in St. Louis all the time. St. Louis is our place. Yep. But we find a place that we've never been, whether it's a coffee shop, whether it's a lunch place, whether it's a dinner, whether it's a little place where we go have a drink, whatever it is. We find a place that we have not been. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of places in the St. Louis area, St. Charles, South County, wherever it is, all over St. Louis. And my gosh, we've got years before we hit all of them. Well, and I make a list.
Yeah. And I want to encourage everybody that just because it sounds like we weren't able to always do that. That's why I asked him when we started this, because there was a time when we just didn't have the time. We could have made the time, but we didn't have the time nor the monetary, it's a little bit harder financially. So I really want to encourage that whenever it's a little bit harder financially, don't feel like you have to always go somewhere that costs something. I remember we went and walked Creve Coeur Park one night. Yep. Literally just got out of the house, got out of the environment, got out of our town, we did a picnic. We literally went and did a picnic right in the middle of, was a big old field or something. Yeah. So things like that, just make it more meaningful, because the excuse that we don't have, I get that, but there are ways to go about it without having to have a lot of cost.
You can go to the zoo. It's free.
Yeah.
Go to the zoo. We've done that. We've gone to Elephant Rock. We've gone, I can't name all the places.
So there's lots of places, lots of things to do whenever you don't have the finances to do it. But then even when you do have the finances, we don't go crazy with it. We're very intentional about what we do. But yeah.
And it's even better now because we don't eat out as much as we used to. So now on Friday nights, it is a lot better because you can actually spend a little more money on a Friday night because you're not eating out through the week like we used to. We're eating at home because we're both just doing better stewarding our money and making sure we're more at home. Plus we're able to control the foods that we're eating because we're on a better path of just being healthier. It's not about losing weight or trying to get into a swimming suit. It's literally, we just want to be healthy. Yeah. I'm going to be 50 in a month.
Yep.
I need to make sure I got my crap together, and you just turned 48.
Yeah.
So you only have a couple more years to hit the big 50. I
know.
But I don't feel 50.
No, but my body tells me I'm 50. I'm 48.
Well, that means you got to get it in shape.
Oh, I know.
So on my thing, I have I have this thing on my phone that it tells me how much, I track my water I'm drinking, calories, my weight, my blood pressure, all this stuff, right? Well, in there it has my age, and then it has my target age, and then it has where I'm at. So right now it says I'm 49 because I don't turn 50 till March 25th.
Yeah.
My target age is 40. That's 10 years younger, body-wise. And right now, it says that I am 47 currently. So I'm still under the, I'm younger according to that, but I'm trying to work my way down.
Yeah.
Because you're getting older, you want to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So I can still go on date nights. I still want to pursue her. I want to chase her around the house every once in a while.
I don't know how far we go. Maybe
You've got a very big house.
Yeah, maybe around the island. I don't know. Hey, the stairs will be just fine for us. We do have a lot of stairs, so that'll keep us young.
So as far as dating, I think dating is very important. Guys, if you're listening, you need to date your wife, man. Keep pursuing your wife all the way till the end of the time that you breathe your last breath or she breathes hers. It's important to always date your spouse. I have taught my kids that, and because we exemplify that, now my oldest son is doing that with his wife, and they do Friday date days, and they mix it up what they do. I'm hoping that my other children will take on that. Right now, first Dawson's brand new married, so they're still a honeymoon phase, and then Zoe and her husband, they have a different schedule. He works and travels, and sometimes they can't do it, and they have a young one at home now, and she's pregnant with another one. And so guess what? It changes.
But once again, parents, help your kids out. This is very important that they understand that this is important for their marriage. And I just did this with my daughter the other day. I said, you guys go. I stay with the child.
Yeah. And you did.
I sacrificed because I know the importance of it, and I will do it for all of my kids.
And I sacrificed too because she was over there because it was a lot easier. So I'm at home by myself.
That's true. And
it was Saturday.
Yeah, it was.
That was a Saturday.
Yeah, it was. But I even asked, I was like, hey, is this okay? I'm going to go over there, in which you're fine with it. But I just think it's so important for us to not be selfish.
Yeah.
I could have been like, hey, nah, I'm going to stay home with Dad, watch, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Valentine's, I'm not a big Valentine's guy, like celebrating that holiday. Erin knows that I don't even think I got you a card last year.
No. I mean,
Does that upset you?
No. You know what? The reason why it doesn't is because that's not my gift.
Yeah.
I'm not, or my love language, I should say.
Right.
It's not my love language. So getting
a card I don't even remember, because normally we are gone on we go on a trip every year for our anniversary. Our anniversary is on the 10th of February.
Yeah. Which
Valentine's
always kinda,
on the 14th.
Yeah, it's always.
And so we're always gone. And this year we're going to be gone on the 13th and 14th, but we're home for our anniversary.
Yeah.
So it's just not like that for us.
And I honestly think if I really think about it, I don't have to dig too deep, but when I think about it, it's a confidence I have in our relationship. I don't feel like I need that. Yes, it can be love language, that it doesn't hit my love language, but I also just feel like there's a confidence in who we are. We appreciate each other often, and I don't feel like I need that to fill something.
Yeah. Would you rather us go out on a date and just have dinner than for me to buy you a box of chocolates, a stuffed bear, and a dozen roses?
No, those are all acts of just like, I understand it. I don't want to knock it because I think some people, when they have a love language of gifts, it literally fills them to the rim. So I don't want to knock that. But for me personally, I would so rather have time with you, talk, like, that kind of thing, more of the interaction.
That's always been awesome for me because, and I have bought you flowers from time to time, but I don't do it very often. I definitely don't do the teddy bear thing.
Yeah.
And I do cards every once in a while. I used to do cards more, back in the day, but our relationship, like you said, I believe the same thing. It's gotten stronger. And when you get more confident in your relationship, you don't need those things. But I still...
There's other things we do.
Not all the time because I want it to be special, but every once in a while, I'll leave little notes around the house or in places where Erin is eventually going to go. And then she'll see these little notes that I say something about her, whatever it is. I mean.
Yeah. So the last time you put you probably put 5 out, maybe even more. Yeah. But every place that you knew I was going to go that day. Yeah. But it was also, it's when that right there filled me more than a box of chocolates.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you know me. That's the thing, is you know that about me. And so I put the last one you had in my car, and it said, love you, or something like that. And so that was the last one. I kept it there. I'm not a gifts person, but I'm a words person. So I can imagine those words hitting me. And so therefore I kept it in my car. Really cool. Dawson did that for Taylor. So she now has one in her car also. So good job, Dad.
Hey, look at that.
So
You guys out there, man, you can learn something.
This is encouraging the legacy that you're leaving. Literally, your children are seeing what you're doing for your wife and your husband. And
all I did was I
suit.
found a phrase or a word. I said a little something about her, and like I put her coffee pot or like right on the coffee maker. I went up into the bedroom where I know, or in the bathroom where I know she's going to brush her teeth. So I put it there and went into, at the time, you were watching Levi that morning, and so I went in there and put it
on the changing
table where I knew she was eventually going to go in there. I put one in the car. I mean, I put them in certain places where eventually she would go as the day would go on to keep it kind of going. And I don't know, I don't do it very often, but I like to do that from time to time just to show my appreciation.
Yep, and that's
pursuing. You don't have to just do that on Valentine's Day, man. No. Do that when God lays it on your heart, when you need to just say some encouraging words. I mean, listen, I learned, I don't know, it's been several years now, but one of the things that really hit me one day as I was reading and listening, I was reading, but then I was listening to a message, is when the Bible teaches us men how to love our wives, he says to wash her with your words. Well, you think about that as Christ does the church. You know, you love your wife as Christ does the church. How does he do it? He washes the church with his words. Well, what does that mean? It means he encourages the church. He talks to them. He speaks above them. Your words have power, and that's either going to bring death or it's going to bring life. And when I was taught that, I'm like, wow, I never thought about it that way, that my role is to wash my wife with her words. Now,
with your words, actually.
Yeah, with my words.
Yes.
But, you know, she'll be honest with you. There's times I've brought death with my words.
It's like nails coming out of his mouth.
I'm washing her with some words, but they're dirty words. And I don't mean cuss words. I just mean words that are, because I'm a human being with a sin nature and I get frustrated,
it's
whatever.
Sulfuric water.
It's called what?
It's sulfuric.
Sulfuric. That's a funny way to describe it.
Yeah, water.
But I think it's important for you men to wash your wife with words, encouraging words. That's why I do the little notes from time to time. It's a little more meaningful.
Yep.
You know, that's something else we could say, because for Valentine's Day, what does everybody always say for Valentine's Day? What's the phrase? Do you know?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, but I mean, if you've got a loved one, what do you?
Be my Valentine.
I love you. Yeah.
Oh.
Everything's I love you. Look at the card. It is Happy Valentine's Day, but I love you. I love you. I love you. You know, Erin and I, Erin more than me, because I say that more often than she does because of the way she views the words, which she wants those words to have weight. And I do agree with her in this. Sometimes we can say that so much that we water it down where it just becomes
like,
another phrase.
Love you, bye. You know how people kind of like
say, everybody's always love you, love you, love you. I love you, I love you, love you, love you. Every moment. And it's like, okay, you know what? Honestly, we can agree that the way I know somebody loves me is how they treat me. The actions of what they're doing, not just what they're saying. Because you can say a lot of things and still not back it up. Mm-hmm. So it's what you actually do and who you are before what you actually say. And I'm not saying it's wrong to say it. It's good to say it. But really, are you loving him or her by what you're doing? That's really the biggest key. So for us, it don't have to be said as often because, well, we show that we love each other.
I got this kind of epiphany. I was talking to someone, and I was like, you know, I don't understand it. Like, I struggle with saying I love you. I don't really say it all the time. And I said, and I don't know if it's just because my parents didn't say it. Like, and this is no knock to my parents. It's just generationally.
Oh, we're knocking your parents.
Generationally. And so therefore I was like, well, they never really said it. And I was talking to this other person about it. And I said, so therefore, then I feel like I tell my kids all the time, not excessively, but I tell them because when I say it, I mean it, but I don't do it like the love you bye type of thing. Right. Anyway, so I was like, I feel like I say it way more to them because maybe I didn't. And this person said, I look at it differently. Actually, you don't say it because you felt it. You didn't need to say it. So you actually had an environment of love that was always present, that you didn't feel like you had to always voice it because it was, you felt it. And I went, oh my, and I actually got goosebumps whenever they said that, because I went, you are correct. You are correct. And so when you think about like people that overly say I love you, or overly, it could be saying something different.
They didn't have that.
Yeah.
That's a good.
I really was like, wow, because then it took almost, it made me feel a little bit better about myself, that I'm not just this, that has an issue with saying I love you.
Right.
Not that. It's just when I feel loved, I don't feel like there's a need to say it. That's bonus on all accounts. So.
What can I say?
Yeah. Anyway.
You got anything else to say about Valentine's Day? Or anything else you want to say to all these fine people out there listening, all the millions of people?
I've enjoyed the conversation with you, actually. We haven't done like this. I like it.
A candid conversation between you and I?
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite, Valentine's date that we've done?
Oh, my gosh. I can't even I can't remember last
Friday's
Friday's date.
I mean,
I do, actually. It was your birthday.
Okay. Well, you planned them all, so... Remember, you're the one.
We've done so much. I really.
I'm trying to think of my favorite.
We're going to be in Nashville.
Yeah, we're going to. Yeah. But I'm saying like a previous. I mean, that's always that's fun.
I don't. What?
I'm a music nerd.
That's a tough question.
Like what your favorite?
Can you remember?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
I don't have a favorite Valentine's Day, because most of the time we're out of town.
Yeah.
Literally almost every year we are gone for Valentine's Day. Yeah. Because we go somewhere for our anniversary.
Yeah. I didn't know if there was anything that stuck out.
This is really the first year we're not doing something for our anniversary, technically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we've been to a lot of places over the winter, and we got a couple places coming up. So we try to balance all that out.
Yeah. It's all good.
What's a favorite date that you what's a favorite thing that you like that we do?
You mean like on a date nights and stuff?
Yeah, like on a date night or whatever.
I really enjoy just the I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but I think just the places that I can go and just kind of like
decompress.
Yeah. If I got too much competing in my head, then I don't feel like it's as enjoyable.
So it's like all the pop-up windows are open?
Like something that can make me do that, yeah.
So what you're doing in that moment is closing them.
Yes.
That way by...
Oh. And all you do is open them.
Oh.
That's hilarious. I agree. Because
Yeah.
you're over there going, you're like, talking to yourself.
I do.
I'm over here quiet, just looking at everything, and I'm looking at him, and he's like...
I do talk to myself. She's like, who are you talking to? I said, me. I'm having a conversation with me. What? I was going to say something, dang it. I just got off train of thought.
I love it.
Dad.
Well, because your windows pop up. Mine go away in that environment.
Yeah. But I was going to ask something. I know what it was. So what was funny, we were on our day one day, and we've been married 28 years.
Yeah.
And we're at this little quaint spot, and we're just looking at each other, and we're talking, smiling, and I started laughing. She said, "What are you laughing at?" And I said, "I'm just sitting here. I'm just what do you remember the word I used? It was a word I was using a lot."
Fascinated.
Yes, it was. I did. That's the word, fascinated. I said, "It's just fascinating that you and I go out every Friday and we enjoy each other's company every Friday. Like, we're always together, and it fascinates me that we can still like each other. I mean, I don't know what to say. There's a lot of people out there that can't do that.
Yeah.
But for us, we have no problem just sitting there in each other's presence, and we don't even have to be talking to each other. But it is. So it's just, that's the relationship I feel like we've built, and we've had to work hard for that, because there's also been some very, very tough times as well, depending on the season we're in.
What could be like date killers, in your opinion?
Phone.
Because
a phone can be a date killer.
I know without a shadow of a doubt, I've talked to some friends and some ladies that they've tried to kind of go on this journey of dates and like even time alone, like on the back porch, and they just can't seem to, like, it just kind of kills the moment, things
Kids.
like, yeah.
Their kids being around can be date killers. Your phone can be a date killer. Like, for instance, I mean, if you're, or work, you're a guy and you got your own business and you're out on a date and all is on your phone doing business, or you're texting 13 other people while you're on a date, well, then you're not really on a date with just your spouse. You're on a date with every single person that you're texting. This is why we work very hard to not be on our phones. And if we are,
we'll talk to each other.
We try to talk about it and say, hey, I need to text this person.
Hey, do you mind if we take like 10 minutes and do this?
Catch up on whatever.
Yeah. And then we go back to.
Those are date killers. I would say another big one is you never want to bring up a very touchy subject when you're going on a date. That's not the time to talk about something serious. Date day is for you to enjoy each other's company. It's not to go, we're going on a date and we're going to talk about something.
We got some things to talk about.
No, that is a killer. This has happened to us before, and I've turned the car back around and go home.
It ruins the entire day.
Yeah. Either one of us, it ruins the whole night, the day, not even worth it.
Wait till Saturday morning.
Yeah. Wait for the right time. And really, if you are going to talk about something like that, it's best to schedule the time.
Yeah.
It's best to say, hey, there's something I want to talk to you about. Do you have time
on
tomorrow or whatever? That way, the person's not being, blasted, and you're definitely
not. Or they can get their mind right around it, and you can pray before you meet.
But there's nothing worse than getting sideswiped by a conversation when you're trying to go on a date.
Yeah, it's a date killer. Yeah.
Those are some killers. That's good.
I know we've gone on a date before, and I remember this. We went somewhere, and we had people kind of come in and sit down and like kind of try to they knew us or whatever. I'd be like, ah. So we have.
So in other words, when you go on a date, get outside of your hometown.
There you go. I was getting there, but it's just funny how sometimes when you go somewhere, people want to kind of come over and
we'll just sit with you. Actually, we're on a date, so no, you can't sit with us.
So try to get outside, Yeah.
But well, listen, I think we've talked enough about dating and singles, and I think we've given our opinions and advice, and don't take it lightly. Like I said, we've been married 29 years in just another few days, and madly in love with one another, and trying to help other couples. And you see it in our kids. Our kids obviously are mimicking some of the things that we're doing, and which is a positive. So it's good all the way around. So I encourage you to do the same thing.
Things are caught more than they're taught.
Things are caught more than they're taught. That's really good. Well, listen, we love you guys. I want to thank my wife for being here, talking about this with Valentine's Day, just a week away. And I guess we'll see you on the next Unfiltered podcast. Have a great week. We'll see you guys next time.